Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. It doesn't matter when you're watching this, it all matters that you are watching. Now, what I would like to start doing is trade reviews on trades that I have taken. Um, it only, it also helps me, not even also helps me. To be honest with you, doing these trade reviews will go ahead and show you guys and myself what I did in the trade, how I either messed up or how I could have done better. These points of this is to give you guys just give you complete transparency. Just give you guys complete transparency on everything that could have happened or did happen. Today was a huge mistake on my part. Huge mistake on my part. I could blame this, that, and the third. I could say market did this to me. I could say what the fuck ever I want to say, but at the end of the day, the fault lies with me. Why does it lie with me, and how does it lie with me? To be honest with you, it lies with me only because I'm not doing the things that I said I was going, i.e., workout and um, pretty much just work out. If I don't work out, I don't. I tend to, if I don't work out for a long period of time, I tend to get brain, and that messes with me. It messes with me mentally. If I don't do it for a long, if I don't work out for a long period of time, it will that behavior and action shows not only in my real life, but it also shows my um today was a very good example of how the fuck that happens. Let's go into the market and let me show you. So today, uh I went live on Facebook and I went live on TikTok. I had several things happen that messed me up, that gave me more confusion. One thing that really did I confused the hell out of myself today. I assumed on live that this 830 candle spiked down here on ES and NASDAQ, where at the same time, I assumed that NASDAQ had also taken out the high, right? But if we go to ES, we can see that this 830 candle never spiked down and took out this low until 845. Now, while I'm dealing with that confusion, I'm also forming together the confusion of why the fuck my time chart isn't syncing up with my time zone. If I would have just slowed down and just started thinking more clearly, I would have been able to come up here and see that I no longer have market data. I no longer have real time data. Real time data is like, yeah, although we see the real time ticks, it takes us 10 minutes. See, okay, so let me use this as a prime example. You see where it says 12:30 down there? Wednesday, the 11th, March 2026, and it says 12:30 p.m. Well, if we come over here, we could see that this says 12:45. We're behind 10 minutes. Whatever data has presented itself within the 10 minutes is not shown just yet. That is a very big, crucial thing in day trading. You need your data on your chart to be matching up with the data that is actually happening in real time. You need that because if not, then it's really hard to follow. It's really hard to follow the method in the model. So I'm battling that while trying to battle the fact that we just swept out the high and swept at the low at the same time. Like I'm just losing it. So while that is all happening, I already told myself, look, if we're gonna go ahead and while while that's happening, I'm looking at Nasdaq and I'm telling myself, look, if we're looking to go ahead and go long on this bitch, we need this fair value gap to go ahead and get filled. So we could go. I'm sorry, it's not that fair value gap. I said if we went ahead and wanted to see price respect this fair value gap, we were going to go ahead and go up, right? Well, at this time, before 9:55, I'm talking to Facebook Live and chat on TikTok, and I'm still losing my fucking shit. And I'm not even actually locked the fuck in all the way. I'm not even actually locked the fuck in. I'm honestly, I was just fucking bullshitting. Um, and then I seen this cancel print. I told myself, okay, cool. Once we had the inversion above, once we get price break this fair value gap, I was going to go long. And that's exactly what happened. Actually, in a smaller time frame, that one. So I said is when we break above, that's when I was going to go long. I went long. We broke above. I went long. I placed my stop here. And then I placed my take profit all the way up here. And it was either this high or this high. Once I'm in that trade, I was like, yeah, I'm full confident in that bitch, right? I long that. I set my stop down to here. Take profit up to here. And at this point, I have full fucking confidence that this is gonna go. Full fucking confidence. And then what do you see happen? Let's watch this shit play out. At this time, I told myself, well, if we're gonna take away that, I told myself if we wanted to go ahead, if price wants to break lower to the downside, this fair value gap right here needs to be broken below. If a fair value gap gets disrespected, gets converted into a inverse fair value gap, price is looking to go further lower. Why? Because we just had confirmation with the inverse showing that there's going to be a breaker structure. Let's see if that holds. Let's see if we get the break below. We keep playing in that range. Keep playing in the range. Bullshit. Anyways, I stopped myself out once we inversed this gap, but I think I took it on. Yes. Did you? Yeah. I took it on ES. ES. Did I take it on ES? Anyways, whatever. I killed the trade halfway in because we had inversed this gap. We inversed the gap somewhere. I know we did. If it wasn't. Oh shit! I'm looking at the wrong fair value gap. Dumbass. Fucking idiot. So I told myself, we're just gonna go back into that trade. We're gonna go back into that trade. Went in with 4 contracts. Okay. So what I did was went in on this trade. We continued. I said, yeah, this time I had full confidence, but then I seen that we had the fair value gap drawn, and then boom. This point we closed below, so I said, fuck it, I'm closing out the trade. Now it wasn't at the take. The trade was more positive than this. It was more positive than that. But other than that, we're not focusing on the outcome like that. We're focusing on how the trade actually played out and how I minimized the the loss. So at this time, I closed out for $18. And at this time, I'm explaining to chat that if we inverse this gap, price has the opportunity to go lower, right? And this time we're just bullshitting, we're just bullshitting back and forth. And then out of nowhere, not even out of nowhere, price ended up actually doing what it needed to do to the downside. Right there. So I said, and then I explain once more, if price is looking to go further up, taking out liquidity to the upside, like it did right here, we're looking to see a reversal off of the liquidity sweep. But then we need that break of structure to show that we are looking to then switch direction. And we get the break of structure right here. Right? So that's how I carried out that trade. How could it have played out better in my favor? What could I have done differently to have that all work? Well, if I would have just paid fucking attention and just slowed everything down, this is how it should have been. We'll take it back to 8 o'clock. Just make sure that we have everything drawn out the way that it needs to be drawn out. So on ES, or on NASDAQ, I'm sorry, if we would have just been paying attention, if we were actually looking at the chart at this time, we would have seen that NASDAQ itself, I think, is what swept the high first. Yeah, so first, NASDAQ sweeps the high. Liquidity wants to go ahead and reverse, or not liquidity. Price wants to go ahead and reverse. Do we get a confirmation that price is looking to reverse off of the liquidity sweep? Yeah, get the break of structure signaling that price wants to go lower. What happens on ES after that? Do we even get that clean? Do we even get that same indication that price wants to go lower right here with the break of structure, taking out orders to the downside, right? Cool. After that, what we should have been doing was saying, hey, we now swept liquidity to the downside on London, and on top of that, we just swept liquidity on prior sessions as well, where NASDAQ could not even manage to come down here just yet, right? Awesome. That right there should have been a very clean indication that an SMT is going to be created. But it's not 9:30 yet. 9:30 is when we're looking to take the trade. If we would have been paying attention and seeing that there was a liquidity sweep on ES, we should have been on NASDAQ itself. Then waiting for confirmation that price wants to go ahead and seek out liquidity to the upside. How do we do that? Well, we just wait for the break of structure, or we have the SMT, we have the break of structure, and after that we have different confluence. First, we need to see that liquidity was swept. We actually get that with ES. ES swept liquidity to the downside. Giving us that SMT. Right? Boom. At this time, we're saying, cool, NASDAQ is going to be the leading index at the upside. Why? Because it couldn't push below these lows where ES did. That in turn showed me that ES wants to be the leading index to the downside. You need to go ahead and see if we have a break of structure to confirm that the SMT was created. And we get the break of structure here. now we need to see the breaker structure on both the indexes. I need that. That's important. We need to see the breaker structure on both indexes to show that the SMT is created, and then liquidity price. I'm sorry, is looking to go up. We have the breaker structure on both ends. Cool. Now, what are we doing? We're looking for breaker structure to the upside, confirming price is wanting to go higher. Sitting on NASDAQ, we're waiting to see if price wants to come above this high. Now, I need to make something very, very clear. When it comes to a breaker structure, we give only a fuck about the prior high that's made. We don't give a shit about the last high that was made. Yes, that this is a high, but technically speaking, seeing as a new high is formed after this high, this is no longer valid to us. No longer fucking use this. We no longer care about it. This is just something that this is poop that we stepped on. We don't give a fuck about it. We care about this high right here. So did we get a high? Did we get a break above this high? Let's find out. Cool. We get the break above that high. Now what are we doing? We're waiting for either a fair value gap to present itself or EQ. Let's see if we get the fair value gap. Awesome. Fair value gap right there. Do we respect it or do we come back down to inverse it? Can I get the candlestick, please? Awesome sauce. We inverse the gap. Now what am I doing? In smaller time frames, look for the break. Now what I should have did was gone off of this. Got the break of structure after we got the inversion, or after price came up and respected the fair value gap. I'm so sorry. This right here. Should have been the trade. We enter off of the break. As soon as we've seen that price, as soon as we see price is like seconds away from the candle closing, and we see that price is respecting it, we're entering. So let's say the profit. We should have did this. Now, say the candle closed here. We're automatically in. If we would have entered off the inverse, it would have been a lot better, but if we followed all the steps properly, this should play out. If we follow, now don't pay attention to this. I know that this is completely off on itself. I know that's wrong. Real time, I know how to fucking fix that. But the only thing that we need to pay attention to is if the model itself worked. Following the model would have generated us a lot of money off of the CPI. Having a very clear head would have given us a very good outcome. But can't do that unless you actually slow down and see everything in a more broader way. If you have tunnel vision and keep solely fixating on one single thing that's going wrong, the longer you're going to continue going down that tunnel. At some time, you need to get to the end of that motherfucker. Sometime you need to see the brighter end, because if not, you're going to continue down that tunnel where it's going to continue getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And ultimately, at the end of that, you either tilt or you get yourself lost and you just say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. But that's not what we do, and that's not how we were playing it. When I first played out my trade, it was bothering me. It was like something in the back of my head was telling me this is wrong. When I lost this trade on ES, or not ES, I initially, you've seen where I went long and you see how it played out. The only reason why that happened is because I just went into it with emotion and I had a lot of different baggage tied to me. The only reason why we do these trade reviews is because I could show myself in hindsight, like what I did was wrong. That feeling that I had, that feeling that kept bothering the hell out of me, telling me that this is wrong, was correct. I told myself I needed to go ahead and do this trade review. I at first wasn't going to go ahead and do this. I wasn't even going to record it, just in case that bias was wrong. But then at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't be transparent. I wouldn't be real. Like that would be all fake. I needed to do something more. I needed to do something that was going to give me proof, but not even that, to just give you guys proof too that this shit worked. That right there is just, if you followed the model straight through, you would have it work in your favor. The only time it doesn't work is when you ultimately get in your own way and start applying different shit, or don't either. The worst of it is it's just applying shit that doesn't even fucking matter and running with it, just solely fucking running with it. So hopefully that was invigorating. Hopefully that was exciting. Hopefully that was entertaining. Hopefully you guys learned something. I love you guys. Catch you guys next time.